So 16 months after I said I'd give you a tour of the van when I get it, I'm finally giving you a tour. So for my 10 subscribers, I'm sorry for the delay. So I bought this. We're here in Spain, it's a November day, it's 24 degrees and sunny, and this is our Harmony Line Burstner. It's pretty hot today, so we've got all the windows open, and we're sitting on a few rocks because I couldn't be bothered to get the ramps out the back. I'm going to just whiz you around, show you what's inside, a few changes we've made, and let you see what you think. It's a very good idea when you have one of these vans, anyone of any sort of van, to have a bungee that you clip on your door to here. Suddenly if a breeze gets up and you break this fly screen, you have a big bill on your hands. So if you've got the fly screen over in this van, it's always got the bungee on. When it's not on, it just neatly fits in here, so that's a handy little place for it. You've got this nice solid outside bin, and in here you've got a little dustpan and brush. See? Although we've got a bigger one that we use most of the time, but occasionally we'll have to get that out and use it. Coming in, we've then got the electric step. Obviously that's pretty standard, and just zooms in and out. There's a light on the dashboard that reminds you if you try and drive off with it. There's no buzzer, but just a red light so that you can see that you've left it out. On the outside here, that's where you would go to get the cassette for the toilet out when you're changing it. And then we've got what they call the garage door there. And on the other side there's a long narrow garage door I'll show you later on. We keep a scooter in the back there, so when we get somewhere we can just don our crash helmets and motor off wherever we want to. So when we come inside, we've got our control panel here, and this shows you how much battery charge you've got on the habitation batteries and on the cab battery itself, and how much water you've got, 50%, and how much waste. And we empty it as we go along now, because in the heat it will actually start to smell if you leave it in the tanks. We've been here about 3 days and we'll probably be here a couple more days, so we don't want smelly water. So we find the drain and pour the water from a bucket, collect it in a bucket and pour it out that way. We put in a fire extinguisher just to be on the safe side, and obviously we've got the Avtex TV fitted here. Behind it I've got a little box of tricks, and you can download movies, and this box has got a terabyte of movies and TV programs. So if we're somewhere where we haven't got internet connection or we can't find the movie, we can use that. And then I've got a little Wi-Fi box here. I put a Smarty SIM in there, and that gives me direct Wi-Fi access to the TV, and I can run the phones off it as well. And then the TV itself can clip in and just pulls out, so when we're in bed we can aim it at ourselves and watch TV. I've got a fridge fan here. In this hot weather the fridge really doesn't like to be struggling to keep cool, so what the fan does, it's mounted on the outside and it sucks the air through from the bottom vent out the top vent, so that it keeps the back of the fridge cool. That saves gas because your LPG is running it when you're stationary, and that keeps the fridge really cold. In fact, we have to turn the fridge down to its lowest setting when we've got the fridge fan on, even in this heat. This is something that my friend Dominic made me. It's a little cupboard. The newer Burstners have this as standard from the Burstner factory, but he cut this out for me and etched a map of the world, put some hinges on and just mounted it, and it's great for putting in your remote controls. This is a cover, wake up and smell the coffee, that he made, with a few magnets on the back. In the back of here there are some magnets, and at night this is actually quite bright. It's a known problem. That goes over it and cuts out all the light pollution at night, so the sleeping area isn't lit up. Obviously you can just switch it off and that puts all your electrics off, but if you want to go to the toilet in the night and have a flush, you'd have to come back out and put it on, which would potentially wake everyone up, because it really is quite bright at night. I've heard many people do all sorts of things, including hanging a pair of pants on there, so if you get one of these vans, that's something you need to be aware of. So in the drawer we've put this shelf in as well. That's not standard. It just came, as this one is, as an open hole, and we keep the dustpan and brush. We've got there the hand sanitizer, because it's COVID times, and lots of these disposable gloves, so if we touch anything that we're not going to be able to wash our hands straight away afterwards, we use those. And I've also attached this lock and put a few cable ties on. Now what this does is when I leave the van, I can actually put this round the handle that will come to here, and there's just enough room on the outside to get your hands in and lock it and unlock it. That means if someone does break the lock, they can't physically open the door, and that's the key thing. So it just slows them down. Obviously with any van you can take precautions, but at the end of the day you've got glass and plastic windows. The easiest way for someone to get in is smash your front windscreen and just climb through. So if they want to get in, they're going to get in. Moving on around here, we've got a full fridge freezer. We've got some essential drinks, various beers, some fruit, pizzas and ice creams and what have you in there. So it's a good size, and we can fill that up and it will last at least a week. Above there we've got our plates, bowls, some Burstner mugs, all held in by the little sticky pad things that they give you with the Burstner, and there's a kettle at the back there. Then if I come over here, this is another thing that we've made ourselves. It's a bigger sink cover which we can flip over. It's just an IKEA Lazy Susan, and we can flip it over and just do chopping and things on it. And then we've added this. This is just suctioned on, and this is a little thing just to keep all your utensils, your washing cloth and soap in, rather than having it in the drawers. If you've seen these Burstners before, you'll see that they come with the rack, and then there's a big blank space. We've got this Babancha kitchen roll holder, which is a perfect place for it. It's well away from the oven and the hob, so there's no chance of it burning. You've got these little overhead lights, which are great. They're directional, so you can move those around if you're washing up or if you're cooking at night. But they can also be removed and placed somewhere else if you want them somewhere else. I can see, and then put them on there, so if you wanted more light there, you could easily move them along and just twist them back on. And there's a normal 24 volt socket up here. Now it's actually a silly place to have it, because when you've got the oven open and you're trying to use it for a coffee machine, if you are on a site connected up to the electricity. So I've put a little extension there and just added that to here, and a couple of USBs, and that's just a simple thing that I got off of eBay, about £10, and that's great. So then the cable comes down here and I can have the coffee machine there. We have a collapsible dish rack, so when we're washing up we put it out there, and then the 3 burner hob, which has been fine, and we've got a grill in there and oven, so it's actually big enough. If you take that out, you could cook a whole chicken in there and do a roast, but we're always in the sun, so we don't really fancy roasts. So moving down, we've got a cupboard here that's got the electronic controls for the drop down bed, which I'll show you in a minute, and our condiments and food storage and various other bits. And on this side you've got the 240 volts trip switch and other gloves and bags and what have you. This drop down bed has a little key. If you switch it off and take the key out, the bed won't move. I think it's a safety thing for children. We never take it out. That's the first time I've taken it out since we got the van. It just simply goes up and down. I'll show you all that in a minute. So I forgot to tell you, we've got all these lights as well. There's different lights around the van. We've got a large light outside that goes the whole length of the awning, which is great if you're sitting out over of an evening. And there's a little one above the door as well. And then there's different lights around the actual van itself. It's really can be very light at night if that's what you want. And so with all these extra lights and things, you need a bit more power. We do mostly free camping, and this van comes with a 100-watt solar panel and a solar controller. We've upgraded that and put another 170 watts solar panel on the roof and a Victron MPPT controller, which is much more efficient than a solar controller, and that helps us never worry about power again. And we put a second battery on as well. Now the Victron has a little app on here. If I just click on there, it's just fetching the data. So it just shows things like there's 19 watts coming in at the moment. It throttles that down and it shows you here what solar is coming in, 41 volts, half an amp. My battery's at 13.7 volts and there's 1.3 amps going in on the float. So it's really just keeping it topped up. That really is useful, but we don't need to look at it anymore because we never run out of power. After a couple of hours in the morning, the sun has normally done its job and then our batteries are topped up again to the full. Just under the sink, let me just show you, there's a little cupboard here. We keep salt and pepper and a few spices. We've got more up there, but there's also then the turn off switches for your gas and water. And then we have a drawer here where we've just put in our sort of utensils and knives and forks and spoons. And then in here we keep our Tupperware and our cafetiere. Nice soft close, beautifully finished. The quality of the build has been very impressive. We put some fairy lights around as well. I don't like them, but it's not just my bus. Over this end of the bus, we've got a lot of seating and we've put a bit of carpet down from Dunelm. There's a little hatch in the floor where you can put additional shoes or beers or whatever, food, and that's a bit of storage. And normally there's a table here and it's quite big, about this size, and it folds over onto itself and can slide around, but we actually find it too big. So we've removed it. It's just some screws. We undo the screws and Bob's your uncle. So that gives us more space, and when we want to have a meal in here, we actually carry a small pop-up table in the wardrobe, which I'll show you in a minute, and we just set that out here, and then we can sit on here or sit on here, facing up to the TV if that's what we want to do. Under the seats here, these just pop up. There's another seat that actually can come up and turn into another belted, oh, I just ripped those off, just show you, turns into another seat, so that can pop up like that. Normally has a headrest, but that gets in the way of the box, and if you're not using it, we don't need that. And then you just put these cushions on and you're away to actually just using it as you see fit. And that's the same on the other side, so you can actually have 4 people here. You can sleep 4 and you can safely travel with 4 seat belts, forward facing seats. So just pop those on there. It's as simple as that. I say that, actually I prefer those down the back. That one goes like that, and that one, oh, I'll just show you this, sorry, there's a storage thing under here, we call it our electrical cupboard. It's got wires and batteries and whatnot, and under there, inside of there, is the Truma boiler, and that works on LPG gas and 12 volt power when you're traveling, and also works on the 240 volt if you plug in, or 110 if you're somewhere with 110 volts. Up here we've got a shoe cupboard, could be anything, but they say on the bed, this is a drop down bed which I'm going to show you in a minute, but they say this shouldn't have too much weight, so it seemed an ideal place to put shoes. So we can come in and rack our shoes in there, and to save a bit of space we can actually just turn them on their sides, and we can actually get in quite a lot of shoes in there if we want to. Additional push button lights here, and here, and the same here. There's a light switch over here which gives you light above at night, so when the bed is down, and also another one that gives you a little night light that shines on the floor very low and in the bathroom, so you can use that at night if you need to. If you do use it for 4 people, which we've never done, there's an additional, the table would need to be in here which goes down, and there's an additional cushion that goes as an infill, and then effectively you've got a double bed here, and this one drops down and you've got another double bed. The swivel seats, they're great, and it came with the Pioneer info system, and this has got Apple Play, Google Play, sat nav. We can connect it up via a cable like this one that's hanging out of there now, and connect our phone to it and use our phones in the normal way, or just Bluetooth our phones. Little microphone here. We've got this little recording device just in case, but also, which is quite nifty, we've got this thing that pops up, and you can actually put your iPad in there and use your iPad as a guidance, so you can use that as your sat nav if you want to. So that can be quite useful. Then we've got the Remus blinds that come across at night. Again, these were standard, and they just come across and magnetically connect in the middle, and they do the same at the sides, and these blinds all come up and make it dark at night, and it's actually really efficient and very dark. But we're just keeping the fly screens on at the moment because there's a few flies around at this time of year. I've also, you may have noticed this, there's a chain on here. This is another little feature that I've added, and all it is simply a chain that loops around here, and it has a little carabiner clip which clips on there, and it means that if we're parked up, no one can open the doors. So if we leave the van, no one can open the doors without smashing the window. And if they smash the window, if they're going to go that far to break in, they're going to break in anyway. We never leave valuables in here, so it would just be them rooting around and taking whatever they could find. But we take everything with us, so they wouldn't get very much. There's more storage under both of these seats. We've got a little step there, and we have a great big crate in there, and that we keep beer and wine in there, and the same the other side. There's places here we sort of stick our slippers under that end, and normally I have the steering lock on, but because we're here with the van I haven't put it on. But if we leave the van, then the steering lock goes on. Nice big shelf up here. This is fantastic. Lots of storage space. We still don't really use all our storage space. There's so much storage space in the van. And a nice little shelf up here. We've got our Bluetooth speaker, a few homemade mats that have Burstner written on, that again my friend Dominic that made the door for me made these, and a tablecloth. When we get the table out, we just run the tablecloth, plastic tablecloth over, keep it up there when it's not in use. So let me show you the drop down bed. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, to bring the bed down you just press the button, and you can obviously bring this bed down to anywhere. You can actually take these backs off and this off and have it as low as a normal bed at home, but we actually find it simpler to bring it down to this level, just above the back of the top of the seats, with this coming down to here. That way we're at the right level to watch TV, and we don't have to clear up or move anything. We just, when we want to go to bed, we go to bed. So let me just show you how easy that is. Look at how simple that is. Just goes down and we stop it there, and then we take off, the bed's already made up so we don't have to mess around making the bed up. We take off the ladder, clip it in the sides here, climb on up, get into bed, and we've got another little light here. We can look out at the stars. There are touch lights above here so we can read in bed if we want to, and there's a little cubby hole here and we can keep our phones, and I've got little night glasses in case I'm somewhere that's really bright or I want to sleep during the day. And then when you want to go to bed in the morning, you just throw the duvet back on, tidy it up by just putting the sides up like that, and then the motor takes it up again, and when it gets to the top it just automatically stops. It's a bit slower going up because there's quite a lot of weight there. There you are, automatically stopping. So that's the bed, and the reason that we wanted a bed like this is if you think about the use of the space in a motorhome, so much of it is used up by putting a big double bed, usually at the back, or making it up each day, and we didn't want that. You only sleep in the bed, so you know at 11 o'clock that comes down, at 9 o'clock in the morning if we're up that early it goes up again. So that's the storage space issue. Let me show you in the bathroom. So inside of here we've got a complete dressing area. We've got a shower, which I'll show you in a moment, a vanity area, and a great big built-in wardrobe. This is the other table I was telling you about that we just pop up. We've got great big pull-out drawers. And at the moment I've just shoved everything in there so that I could show you round and tidy things up. But we've got our coats in there for when we get back to the UK. This door actually gives a little bit of soundproofing as well, which is quite nice because you know if you're doing your business you don't really want everyone listening in if they're in the area. So in here we've got a normal tap, a toilet roll holder that's held inside the door with a loo roll that just comes out of the door, which is quite nifty. There's a vent down the bottom there, and that puts in the hot air along with another one there, so when the heating's on it gets nice and toasty in here. A normal flushable toilet, so you do your business, you open this flap, do whatever you're doing, flush it away, close the flap, easy. And then you've got lights all around, all the vanity unit lights up, lights above there. It's really bright at night, but I don't think you'd really appreciate it during the daytime when it's so bright. We've got more storage of various bits in here, plenty of stuff, and a little shelf, so we like all of that. If you come around here and have a look, we've got a shower which is actually full size. I can stand up in this, these doors shut obviously, they come to here and I can fully wash, maneuver myself and use the shower as you would normally. There's a little drop down thing here, so if you have wet coats and things or wet towels you can actually hang them on here, and there's a little roof vent above and that lets a bit of air in and out for things to dry off. It's a really great little shower, very efficient, and 2 plug holes, so if you're not perfectly level one way or the other then the plug holes will actually, you know, if you're slightly downhill or slightly going backwards when you're parked, then it will still drain away. There's also a little access door here, and that gives you access. We keep our dirty washing in this big Primark bag, and that's hooked onto the side of the motorcycle, scooter, which I will eventually get out and show you as well, just to how we carry that, because again we've got absolutely masses of space in the van and we take that scooter with us everywhere. So I'm just going to show you the garage and the motorbike so that you can see how easily it goes in and how useful it is to have it. So this is our little Suzuki Delight, which is a great little beast. Got a top box with just a little screw in there that you undo to remove it, like that. One-handed job, quite simple. And that comes off. And then I need to take the mirrors off as well, and that's what that screwdriver, that spanner is for. So we take a number 10, I think, or even an 8/16, and that will take those off. Just loosen those off out of shot, and then all you do is simply wind them around until they come off, and then put them in one of these bags. I just wanted to show you there's quite a bit of storage in here. We've got 2 crash helmets in there, but you can also fit quite a lot of shopping in, 2 big bags of shopping and then another big bag of shopping on the back there when you've got it. But that just clips down. What I'm going to do is take the front straps that I tie it down with and put them on the steering. So this helps me when I'm putting it up into my motorhome. So let's get it lined up. The straps is because if you don't have them, when you put it in and you're trying to push it into the little ramp, in fact I haven't shown you the ramp yet, so we're going to take the bike up this ramp into this little jig that I've made. I'll take you around the other side. And at the back of our van we've got another entryway. You can see there's this thing. The wheel goes into here and then comes up, and then we clamp it down with the straps at the front of the bike into these ratchets. When the ratchets aren't in use, I hang them on the wall there. And so I just need to push the bike up here into this ramp, then ratchet it down either side, and Bob's your uncle. So it's as simple as that. It's in there now, and all I've got to do is strap it down, which is a matter of grabbing a hold of the strap and then putting it on here. And I didn't know how to strap this on, so it goes in from the front and then pulls up like that. And you don't want it too tight because you've actually got to have it wrapping around itself. So if I start it too far like that, it won't be enough. So you start it a bit loose and then just ratchet like that, and then I do the same on the other side, which you won't be able to see. So now that's ratcheted in. I've actually put this little thing on here so that when it's traveling it doesn't scratch the sidewall there. So it's very firm now. You wouldn't be able to move that, but I actually put 3 straps on the back as well. So So there we've got this, which is hooked on under there with just a couple of pins that fit in to those holes, and then there's a wheel on the bottom here, and I just slide it in. So it just slides in there. Like that. And then I'll put these straps on the back. You can see I've attached the straps under the carrier for the top box, and then one across the middle here that goes through the wheel and gets done up here, and you just simply ratchet that down. And now that is as firm as anything. It's not going anywhere. And that's as simple as that. Once it's in, I actually find that I can fit quite a bit of stuff down the sides. At the back there I can put chairs and tables. And then on this side I carry 35 litre water, spare water. So I've got 135 litres with me. Got to think about the weight. But we're actually fairly light for everything else in the van, so it's not too much of a problem. So that's that. That was simple. We've got the cassette place here for the toilet. Toilet cassette goes in and out there. There's a little attachment here on the bottom of the door to put the awning on. That does two things. One, it holds it in place, and two, it stops it if you're on soft ground or dirty ground getting filthy dirty and then being put away. We've got a fly screen there, and we always pin the door back with a bungee cord, as you can see. We've got a awning that goes the full length of the side of the van and has lights all the way along. And coming down the front, I'm just doing some cooking here at the moment. We've got a place here behind the door where we can plug in the gas. And we've got a TV and electricity point there, so if you want to watch TV outside in the summer evenings, you can. And if I take you around the other side of here, we're plugged in at the moment, as I mentioned, because of the toothbrushes. And on this side, we've got our water in there and electricity. In there we've got our gas low bottles and a big long door with a shelf that flips up inside, so if you want to carry skis or a surfboard you can. What more could you want? So I hope you've enjoyed the tour of my Burstner. It's a Harmony Line TD 680G Lyseo. It's on a Fiat chassis with a 2.3 turbo diesel engine. It's 3 meters high, 7 meters long, and I'd just like to mention that I bought it from MB Motorhomes in Bury in Manchester, and although that's a 500-mile round trip, if you're looking to buy one, because I got such a great deal with it nearly £2,000 cheaper than my local dealer, I would suggest that you go there. Thank you very much for watching. I'm sorry if it sent you to sleep.
Don't forget to click subscribe and like.
Carry on though.